Hi everyone, Paul Morbid here, Morbid Team Entertainment and Bolex Repair Philippines. So, with this Canon 310XL, it's in a very nasty way. So we're going to start on the, suppose around the lens area right here. I'm going to start to clean it. I have my magic mixture, and this is good for surface rust. Okay, what I have right here. Alright, and I'm going to use this Q-tip and dip it in the magic mixture, and it is just simply baking soda. And yes, you can use baking soda to clean plastic and glass and that type of a thing, as well as metals. Okay, and it is good for a lot of those things. So I'm going to slide this out to the back to give me a room for the camera itself. You want to avoid dropping this on any of the component board. However, if you ever do, just simply blow dry it off, and as long as you don't have it on, it's going to be fine, most likely. And there we go. So for a while, if you're doing this, and of course that I'm doing this, it's going to be a lot of this type of thing. And I mean a lot of it. Okay, just be gentle and delicate in this area. The gentle and delicate area is right around there where the lens are and the prism. Okay, you don't want to screw that up. Okay, if you got something as bad as this, you're going to be going deeper into the situation. All right, and yeah, I'm sure I'll be taking the other side off of the cover, but one catastrophe at a time, as I say. All right. So far so good with some things. All right. That's one that's dropped into the floor, the Q-tip that is. And on to another one. Scrape some of that off onto the glass back there. Okay. Some of this plastic prism here. So we got fun, fun, fun. Get up under you. A little bit, but a little bit means a lot on this area. Okay, so I'm going to come back to this in a bit, but I'm giving you the basic idea right here of what's going on if this is in a situation in your area. All right. Get some of that off of there. Come here, you. There you go. Delicately, gently pull. Now the Q-tip goes into the floor. Let me get some of that off. I don't want to get it too damp in this area. All right. And let that dry. Okay. So in this area, I'm going to keep working on it on myself and then get back to you later and show it to you. Okay? Let's move on to some other things. Now some of the rusted parts, like this spring right here that fits into the lens area, and there's some missing parts. Some parts that are rusted, some parts that are stuck in the camera, and they're going to be spilling out, and you need to expect that as well. These springs, I tend to slide them onto a toothpick and drop them in any type of cleaning fluid. Okay, and that's going to clean off that rust. I just let it soak in there, and I'll put it at the back of my work desk. Okay, now I can slide my camera back. and continue working. Alright. Anytime I see anything that's got some rust, I just drop it in there. Parts like this are going to take a lot of work. Okay? So, as you can see here, it takes a little bit of finessing. I got some rust. I could do a little bit of scraping, and I'll have to. Flathead screwdriver. You also want to use as many of your toothpicks as possible. As you've seen in many of my videos, these toothpicks really are essential. Loosen everything up. Get it out of there. And again, to get all that stuff loosened up, simply take it, and I'd say something like that, soak it for about 15 minutes in there. Okay? Take it back out, work some of the rust off. That's what you're going to be doing with it. Okay? Now, as far as this type of rust around here, we're just going to have to be going along and dipping along. Get some on your Q-tip, go along on here and start removing that. Okay? It's a long process, folks. So remember, when you send your camera off to have it repaired and get a CLA, this is what you're paying for. You keep doing this and doing it, and finally you'll start seeing some metal showing there that's clean. And you'll see we got some clean showing through. See there? And that's just with baking soda and water. Okay, but you can see how it started out. What you're looking at here is water damage, by the way, or extreme heat and humidity. Corrosion I got right here I'm working off. If you hear how difficult, how hard that is on there. Alright. Let's give you a close-up. There we go. See what's coming off there. So when you're sitting on the bench, there's going to be a lot of hours of this. A lot. Okay, looks to me like something has given way. I think I just caught it. Yep, I just caught it. All right, I'm going to continue some more of this cleaning. Get back to you. Now it's also good to use a pipe cleaner and put it into your cleaning solution. Just make sure that you squeeze it out. Don't get a lot of the solution liquid down inside of the camera, okay? And especially down in this area, behind the lens where the shutter is. You're also going to have where your exposure meter is, okay? That little flag that pops out when you press the trigger right here, down by my pencil eraser. So, what you don't want to do is you're going to be tempted to turn the camera over and bang some stuff into your hand, okay? So you really don't want to do that, because what happens is sometimes that little flag right there from your exposure and other parts, it'll bend, it will be warped, okay, and it will just pop off and fall in your hand. You don't know really where it came from unless you know how to put it back together originally. And there'll be some other parts that'll just pop off. Because remember, these things are rusted and corroded, okay, when it gets to this point, all right? So at this point, I'm looking right here at the, just beyond the shutter, okay, at the end of my pencil eraser right there. And so I can stick some of this back here so I can get clean just a little bit, as much as I can. These are soft and pretty gentle, and do as much of this like this as I can without having to disassemble. But more than likely you'll end up having to go deeper. But if you can't, that's fine. Send it off to a technician who knows what's going on, a professional, and see what we can see as far as this is concerned. All right. So far we're getting this clean, and we'll continue with it. All right. So I wanted to show you some of this rust is finally coming off. Okay, from soaking it in that baking soda and water. It'll be kind of gunky and gooey. And yeah, I got my white cotton glove on, so I won't, my fingers, my oils in my fingers won't destroy the glass elements. Okay. Just gonna work all this way around here and get off of that. Get all that goo out of there. And as you can see, it's a chore. Okay. It was just a real irritation. But anyway, once you get that off to a certain point right there, go ahead and take your pipe cleaner and rub that out of there. Okay? And get that out. Okay? Get that right out of there. Alright, we'll get back to this later. So far, so good. Alright, so as you can see, this is the after effect after it's cleaned. There's one of the lens elements. You see all the way around there, how good that looks. Okay? Alright. Alright, so I'll take this piece here, clean the element. This one is very delicate. Alright. Get all that rust. These pipe cleaners are generally really good at getting those tight places. All right. On the outer side. Okay. All right, next going to clean that off. All right, jumping to the chase a bit, what I want to do is go ahead and show you. Those of you who want to go ahead and go ahead of me, if you're having issues with your cameras and you want to know what grease to use to lubricate the plastic and plastic to metal, and you've probably heard that there's some of the grease out there can deteriorate the plastic parts, and that's very true. It'll eat it, it'll liquefy it, and then you'll have lots of problems. All right, so that was a big problem in some of the other cameras and small electronics as well. It started. It softened the gears and that type of a thing. All right, so the product that you want is a white lithium grease, number 2. Okay, it's safe for gears. So if you roll around the back here, anything designed for use in rolling, sliding parts and precision machine tool, textile machinery, universal grinder, plastic gear, and moving parts and toys. Okay, this is the type of stuff you want exactly right here, and it goes on. Do read this. You want to use this in a well ventilated area and don't get any contact really to skin and open wounds. Okay, so you want to make sure you understand that. All right, otherwise, you know, it's pretty nasty. So what you want to do is go ahead and start applying this. So let's go ahead and start doing some of that. So you can just take some out of your lid, essentially. Okay, and you can go ahead and start doing this and have your parts ready if you like, and have it on there ahead of time, especially if you have some of the metal parts like springs, you know, so they won't rust. Okay, that's the idea there. All right. I had to find some replacement parts for this camera. Some of the parts where it fell off, broken, disintegrated, stuff like that. There's a little bit of rust, but don't worry too terribly much about it. I got it. It doesn't look like it, but I've got it. Okay, so from the camera's point of view, down here, I've got this part lubricated. It's ready to go. That tells me that I've cleaned it to my specifications, and it's really out of my hair. And I don't want it to rust or anything, corrode. So, that's what that tells me. And to do this, because I'm using this white lithium grease too, that's why I'm using the latex gloves. I don't want this stuff coming in contact with my skin, and particularly in the pores of my skin. Okay? And so, let's see, I'm going to reach in here, which area where you can't see off camera. All right. And I'm going to take this spring. Okay, so this is another example right here. I'm going to take it. I'm going to make sure it's dry. Okay, and free of rust. I'm going to move it around here. Make sure I've got a rust-free zone now. All right, so it looks like I'm looking quite nice. All right. All right, so yeah, another toothpick. Slide the old one off. All right, good enough right now. I can go ahead and lube this. This tells myself now and later it's out of the way and ready to go. Again, plastic to metal, metal to plastic parts. Okay. All right. There we go. And that one goes right in this area of the lens. Okay. All right. So I'm sure if everything looks as bad on the upper side of this part, more than likely it's going to look like that on the underside. Right? So, again, I got some missing parts right here. Stuff like that. See how difficult this is to remove due to all the rust and corrosion. Some movement. And I'm going to go ahead and see if I can start soaking some of these pieces. So that was long, short, medium screw. That's how that came off. Medium, the one at the bottom. I'm holding on to the gears because I don't want to get any type of misalignment, which I may have just did just a tad. Okay. See him? All that's got to be cleaned. All right. Okay, so that's an issue there. All right. And that is going to go into my solution. I'm going to start cleaning it. All right. All right, there we go. A lot more work to do. All right, so everybody, as you can see, this Canon 310 XL is going to take a lot of work. I got some cracked and broken parts are just falling off inside of there, just in my hands, and I've got to maintain and check that out deeper and closer. Okay, so if I want to continue to save this, that's great, you know, and you know, the price of one of these things, it generally runs is, you know, a fair amount, so I can just see how deep I want to go with it. It just depends on how I want to do that. Do I want to buy another one, or do I want to keep on doing one like this, you know, replacing a lot of parts in it, that type of thing. But at the very least, you get to see how what's going on, what it entails, what it takes. If you send your camera off to a technician, what they're going to go through, they're going to pull new parts off the shelf. If you're going to do it like this, you got to do cleaning, spot cleaning, bit by bit, until you finally get it done. Do contact me at the social media outlets provided on the screen, and remember, as always, do subscribe. Until next time, see ya.